Welcome, guys. Welcome to Team FreeStyle Start Strong Training. It is Easter Monday, 2018. It's the 2nd of April, 2018. If you didn't know what the date was today, I don't even have to check my phone or watch for the first time, I think. But super excited about tonight. We have one of our international Team FreeStyle rock stars on tonight. We have Kerrie tuning in all the way from Canada. She's built an amazing business. She is currently, I'm pretty sure of this, an SSC. Yes, Kerrie, an SSC. I was pretty sure of that. And well and truly on her way to QNMD. Certainly one of the leaders in Team FreeStyle, the leader really from what I understand, in Team Canada. And we're excited to have her share her insights on how she is doing this business so far away from the rest of us. I think, you know, it's so many lessons can be learned here. I think some of us feel quite isolated. We do so much of our business like this, but to be able to listen to someone and have her share her journey from all the way the other side of the world is pretty incredible. And, you know, again, if you guys are just tuning in and you didn't hear me before I press record, it is 3 a.m. in the morning in Canada, and Kerrie is tuning in. She's got up on Easter Monday morning, like everyone's got a sugar hangover. Maybe not Kerrie, but most people have got a sugar hangover on Easter Monday, and she's up and about and pouring into us. So dedication, definitely, Susie. So we're super excited to have her on. Before I do that, I want to share just a little bit of insight, and I don't always share this, but I think when we can understand, you know, when we're just starting the month's rolled over and we think about what's possible for us if you're just getting started, guys, we're going to talk. I want to talk to you guys about, you know, how do you get to the certain levels in our business? Obviously, I'm going to keep this Australian numbers specific, or Australian New Zealand numbers specific, but it's all relative. It's all relative to other businesses. So you got other countries. So you guys can understand this. If you guys think about this in our business, is that our business kind of, when you think about our marketing plan, in the beginning, it looks a little like this. I was shown this right in the beginning and it helped me understand a little bit. It probably didn't make sense straight away, but when you first start out in the business, guys, you start out as a VF, a virtual franchisee. Now here in Australia, when you sell a box of premium capsules, you're getting $61 for that order. The next level in our business here in Australia, we call that DVF. If you're in Canada or anywhere in North America, we're calling this DD. Okay, they call that direct dealer. And when you get to that level here in Australia, you're getting $75, which is about an extra 4 or 5%, I believe. The next level is SDVF here in Australia, SDD in North America, and you're getting $93 here in Australia. And at sales coordinator, okay, and this is standard, all countries have this sales coordinator position, you're getting $112. This is 22% of the retail profit. So what we want to do, guys, is help you get from here to here as quickly as possible. Now, if you're in North America, you're tuning in, you're watching the recording because you want to find out how Kerrie's done this, this is all relative to the retail amount that the customer pays. Because in America, in North America, you guys pay less in retail for the actual product. Therefore, the amount you're getting is less, but the percentage is the same, 22%. So obviously, most people ask me, Adam, well, how do I get from here to here? How do you do that in the best possible way? And why would I want to get to that level? One thing I want you guys to understand, let's say this is your upline sponsor, okay? So this is the person that sponsored you, and then you're here, and then you sponsor someone next month. Let's say that by the end of this month that you're able to get to this level, SDD or SDVF here in Australia and New Zealand, and you're at that level. That means that every premium order that goes through your business next month, so whatever level you start this month on, that's the level, the retail profit level that you stay for the entire month. Once the month rolls over, that's when you jump to the next level, as long as you've been able to get to this level. So even though you may get to DVF, SDVF, or SC this month, you won't officially jump the retail profit level until the new month rolls over. So if you've done that last month, if you've been here for a little while, then you know you've jumped the retail profit level. Okay, so if you think about this, let's say this month you're able to get to SDVF. That means next month you're going to get $93 for every premium order that happens. So what this means is the company pays out 22% of the retail profit every single time product leaves the office. Depending on what level you're at will depend on how much of this retail profit you get. So for instance, let's say that you introduce someone to the business this month. Let's say that you got to SDVF last month. So we can use this for an example. Or if you get there next month, the same example, just the month after, you introduce someone to the business this month, and because they're a VF, they're getting $61 for every premium order that they do this month, or if it happens next month, whatever month we're talking about. But because they're not entitled to any more of this, the rest, or the cream, what is left, rises to the top. Now, if you're an SDVF, that means you get the difference between here and here because you're the person immediately above them. So you're picking up here in Australia $32 for the premium order that they did. Then the person, because you're not entitled to any more than that because you're only an SDVF, then the person above you or the first SC above you will catch the leftovers, which is $19. And you guys can imagine that, you know, maybe that you introduce the business to 2, 3, or 4 people the month after you go SDVF, or even if you're a DVF, you're picking up the rest. So all the retail profit that these people aren't entitled to, and if you're a level above them, then you're picking up the leftover. If there's still leftover once it gets to you, then it raises to the person at top. So it's no wonder we want to help you guys get to here as quickly as possible. Now, some people would say, well, why would the person above you want to help you get to SC? They're missing out on money. Then remember, guys, we get paid 3 ways. We get paid the retail sales profit, which I've explained here. We get paid bonuses. So when when you get to positions, you get bonuses. So if you help people succeed, then that usually accelerates you to those next positions in the business. But the big money, the real money that happens over time, which makes up a larger portion of your check as your business grows, then this one comes, and this retail sales profit becomes a smaller percentage as you grow. So you want to help people win. You want to help people get to these positions so they can put money in their bank account, they can start to get some returns, and then they build belief that they can do this business also. Now, to quickly explain how you get from here to here really quickly, from VF to DVF here in Australia and New Zealand, it's 1,000 points. You've got 30 days to do this. Yes, if you do it in 10 days, you get a $100 bonus also. The next level is SDVF, so it's from the day that you start. It's 4,000 points, right? It's a little different in North America. It's 1,000 points. You need to share the business with one person at least, and you've got 60 days to do this. If you do it in 40 days, remember, guys, 40 days gets you a $400 bonus. And then sales coordinator, you've got 5 months to do this. It's 12,000 points, but it's more about structure. And what I mean by that, you've got to introduce 2 people to the business and help them get to here, and help one person get to DVF. This is how it works here in Australia and New Zealand. It is slightly different in other countries, but at the end of the day, not many businesses to get the sales coordinator is any different to this. Find 3 people, help them get to a certain position in the business, build some orders, help them do the same, and it'll be similar to some extent. To get to that sales coordinator, that top position in your business, generally you need to have shared the business with people, and think about people who join the business because they're looking for a way to create an extra stream of income, whether it's to get the product cheaper, for free or possibly create an extra stream of income. There's lots of reasons why people do this business. So I think, guys, if you're just starting out, sharing the business with people that are looking for the benefits the business provides, and then also sharing the products and the program with people that want to get healthier, and that you're focused on meeting people where they're at. Sometimes people ask me, Adam, what do I do? Do I share the program and the product? Do I share the business? I would say meet people where they're at. That's who you share it with. If they want to get healthier, share the program and product. If they want to create an extra stream of income, if they're looking for the benefits an extra stream of income would be, then share the business with those sort of people. That's really about meeting people where they're at. So that's about me. I'm going to pass it on to Brian and Fiona. Happy Easter, guys. I'm just going to try to find you guys. Hang on one sec. I'm just going to blow on my screen. There you guys are. What's up, homie?
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter, you guys too.
Thanks for this. Pretty excited about tonight. Canadian rock star in the house, which would it be one of our first international, starting strong? No, New Zealand, I suppose, is international these days, but North America, pretty cool. Kerrie-Anne is a SSC going for Q this month. Been in the business nearly 12 months, so this will be her 12th month, which is pretty significant for North America. What she's achieved takes probably most people 7 or 8 years over there, so she's definitely flying, which is pretty cool. She's a mother of 2, ex-primary school teacher, and married to a very supportive husband, Sean. But she is an amazing woman. She's got a few people between me and her, so Fiona and another awesome person in our business, Laurie Briganti, work with her pretty closely also, so she's getting a fair bit of support, but she is a total rock star. So maybe if you can just spotlight her, and then we can get this party started, Adam. Kerrie, hi.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter. How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm actually really excited. Yeah. Really? I was so excited. I got up yesterday to do this interview.
I know. She messaged me and said, I'll see you in a few hours. I'm like, yeah, in about 24. You don't need to get up at 7 a.m. Well, you're prepared then, right?
I am. I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
Maybe, Kerrie, if you can just explain a little bit about who you are and then what attracted you to the business.
Sure. Well, I think you did a really good job. You kind of summed me up. I have a couple of kids. I love them. I taught for many years. It was my passion before, coming into this. I honestly tell people I got into this business just to get cheaper products, but I know in my heart of hearts that's a total lie and a story that I tell people and myself. But really what really got me was that very first Mummies on a Mission presentation I saw with Kira. And it just really resonated with me, and I can totally identify with her story. And I think when I heard all the stories of the mummies in that video, I felt, wow, there are people out there who feel this way, because I too was feeling pretty isolated. And I felt like when I left my profession of teaching and started in this new role of being a mummy and a housewife, I just kind of checked everything for me at the door and just really took on that role full on. And I mean, it was amazing, but I kind of got lost. And so I lost a little bit of my confidence, and definitely being a stay-at-home mom for 4 years took a bit of a toll on me. And I stopped doing the things that I love to do for myself, and so I stopped getting my hair done. I stopped going out places. And, I just felt like when I was in conversations with people, or my husband would have people over, I just thought I had nothing to contribute, nothing of value. Unless you were going to talk about children in diapers, sleeping, or what they were eating, I really didn't have much to contribute. And so that didn't feel great, right? And I guess when I started the business, I really loved all the connections and relationship building. So I didn't have a huge Facebook following. I think I had maybe 100 people on there or more. And it was essentially just to chat with family and friends who have moved across the world and to keep in contact with them. And then when I started the business, all these people started asking me what I was up to. And I just loved the connections and relationships because I had kind of isolated myself. And I guess too, I loved the trainings. So I started just submersing myself in the trainings. And what I noticed was the more and more I listened to the leaders in this business, like you and Fiona and Adam and Kira and Linda, was they were there to empower us. And I felt like this weight had been lifted from my shoulders. And it was the first time in my life I was kind of exposed to concepts like self-care and gratitude and just really paying attention to personal development. I had done personal development, but it has always been in an educational sense. So, child or classroom management and those kinds of things. So to actually start looking inward and working on myself as a human being was, I don't know, I just was blown away with the transformation that I was making. I was becoming a more positive person. I was less reactive with my children, my husband. And, most of my life I put on these blinders. And if people, wanted to, I would just look down and rather than look at people and smile or engage with them, I would look down and busy myself. And I walked around with this feeling of, that feeling when you're embarrassed? I felt like that most of my life when I was out in public. And it was just such an uncomfortable and awkward feeling. And some of that was, just going away. And I really think it had to do with the personal development that I was being exposed to in our amazing program. So it's been so liberating just to check that fear at the door and grow as a human being. So if I could just sum it up, what really attracted me to this business was that side of things, is the personal development, the human connection, and the community. That make sense?
It does. And I remember, from an outsider looking in, I remember meeting you on that first call, and you were a little bit sick, but you're very timid and shy. And to who you are and where you're at right now I've just seen such an amazing journey. And I think it's the best gift in this business, right? It's the growth that we get to go on, all of us. And when you see that in your team, and you've seen it in your team with people changing too, it's very rewarding. So thank you for sharing a little bit about that. So maybe if you could share about some lessons, maybe a couple of important lessons that you've learned over the last 12 months in the business.
Some lessons? Yeah, sure. So I guess my biggest lesson and kind of a challenge for me was just my story. I've always gone back. I've always had something about my story that didn't resonate with me. And, as you grow in this business, of course, your story changes, right? But there are elements of my story that have stayed the same. But the difference is when I actually took it apart, and we've been working on our story in trainings with Brian. And I guess, I would share my story with people, but I didn't share it with conviction, and I didn't share it with heart. And no wonder I didn't think that I was inspiring anyone. Was, if you're sharing something and it's not coming from your heart, you're not going to inspire people to learn from you, right? And so I really just took the whole thing apart. And I had this limiting belief that my story just wasn't enough to touch people. And I had cried alongside listening to other people's stories, and some people came with such pain. And I just thought, how can me, this little house mom, make a difference? And when I realized it and I broke it apart, and I thought, oh my goodness, here I was, this person who didn't even want to look people in the eye. And in a year, I've transformed into someone who fought those fears and am confident, and I've just totally transformed. So how could I look at that like that's not impactful and assume other people don't experience that in their lives? I mean, my story kind of mimics, it's not the same as, but it mimics some of the concepts of Kira's story. And I thought, look at how she impacted me just in that video. So just tearing apart my story and identifying it and with it and sharing it and sharing my vulnerability with people has actually been refreshing, because they'll actually thank me for being so raw, because they do feel that way too. Because as house moms, sometimes you get in this habit of feeling like, no, everything's great, it's awesome, and then move on. And sometimes it's not awesome. So I think that was one of my bigger lessons, for sure.
Sorry, I was on mute. So your team's going really well. I mean, think people are starting really quickly, and you've brought on some people recently that are just absolutely killing it in the business, which is awesome. Maybe if you just want to help some people with how you start those people strong.
Yeah, sure. I guess one of the big things is just human connection. Again, a few months ago, Kira had come up with this idea of 5-minute chats. And so when I started on with the 5-minute chats, that's when my business started to transform. And so I remember feeling like, oh, how am I going to get, all these people in 5 minutes? It's going to take all this time. But what ended up happening was I was building relationships with people. I was learning about them. It wasn't just these quick snippets of, I have a question, here's the answer from Messenger. It was learning what their whys, learning what they want from the business, and then kind of helping them with those frustrations initially, so that they're not getting frustrated to the point where it all just keeps building up and then they just kind of want to give up. And so I think building those relationships was huge. Also quick Zooms, Zooms with my team, giving them opportunities for leadership roles as well, because if we're just learning from one person, you're just getting this narrow view. And I've got so many gifted people on my team, just like you said, who are and come from all these different backgrounds and have all these different gifts to share. And so giving them that opportunity, I'm learning from them. And it's this just a big, great, happy team. So I think definitely that. Another thing that I would recommend is just be teachable. I mean, right from the start, Brian said, lead with the business. And I was like, no, I'm products. I'm a products girl. I love these things. And it wasn't until about like 4 or 5 months ago that I had this shift. I don't know what the catalyst for change really was, but it was a whole bunch of things. And I remember feeling like, oh, I don't know if I'm really enjoying this anymore. And I took a bit of a break. And when I came back, I was like, no, the products are amazing and no one can dispute that. Some people try to, but but the business is life-changing. Like, it's inspired me. It's given me hope, happiness. It's changed me. So who am I to keep this part hidden? And like, even in the way I behave. So I was really great about posting, and I had all these like nice little quotes and product posts here and there, but my reach outs, which is more, I think, the business side of things, I wasn't that great at. So I did this flip flop, and I started reaching out to more people and reaching out with the business in mind. And Adam kind of mentioned too, it's the balance, but I did all the product kind of things. And whenever I'd share my story, it was the product side of things. And I left out this incredible business, which I value so much. And so be teachable, because your leaders know what they're talking about. They're giving you this, they're giving you these suggestions because they know they work and they know you're going to grow. So listen. Another thing is, to start off, is just say yes. Say yes to everything. So if your leaders tell you something, yes, even if it scares the pants off you, because you're going to grow from this. You're going to come out of your comfort zone. And I mean, you just, I don't know, you always learn from it. So if I can use myself as an example, Brian mentioned I have an incredible upline, and Lori Briganti came to me and she said, there's this Linda Evenden, I didn't even know who she was really at the time, is putting on this mastermind quantum leap challenge. Do you want to do it? And I was like, no, I have no time for this. I don't want to do this. Yeah, sure. Sign me up. I'll do it and I'll deal with it later. And I was 4 months in the business and I had not yet launched because I was too terrified. And from that, joining this competition, I was forced to launch. And so it was the most terrifying 60 to 90 seconds of my life, but I did it. And then from there, we had a Facebook Live, and again, horrifying for me, but I did it. And then from there, Brian was like, okay, we're going to do a North American event and you're going to do products. And I was like, okay. So I did that. And now I'm hosting the North American events for our West Coast. And I strongly believe if I didn't say yes to the first thing that scared me, then those things, maybe they would have been a part of my journey, but perhaps it would have taken me a lot longer to get to where I'm at. So if your leaders bring something to you or ask you to do something and it scares you, it's probably a good indication that you should do it because you're going to grow.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It does. And it's so good. And I do know, I remember those situations and those calls I've had with you where I've asked you to do something and you've always been, it sucks, I don't want to do it, I'm scared, but yes, I will. So I think it's definitely been a part of your growth, which is awesome. Hey, just going back to your 5-minute calls, because there was a couple of questions around that. Do you want to just give some context around maybe the questions or the topics you have with those people on those calls?
Yeah, sure. Oftentimes it would go back to getting started guide. A lot of questions about the compensation plan, promotional levels. And so basically what I would do is I would set my timer and I would ask people ahead of time to list off their questions. Anything that we got to in the 5 minutes was awesome. Anything that we didn't get to, we'd pick up on the next day. But a lot of times it was just quick questions, mainly related to promotional levels, numbers, reports, and then just queries from clients, potential clients. And so it was directing people where to look and how to help themselves or where to put information in the chat if they couldn't get it. So those kinds of questions. And then just with frustrations, right? Because sometimes people would feel overwhelmed because you get included into a lot of different chats, a lot of different groups. And so it gave me an opportunity to just kind of say, all of those things have a place in this business, but perhaps they're not as important right now. So, further on down the road, you're going to need these things, but just in the beginning, I would strongly recommend I'd get them to focus on the getting started guide, asking me questions along the way. And then when the time comes, you start looking into everything else. So overwhelmed.
And how many people are you doing that with?
Well, I would do it for the first 30 days. And so it varied. I think the most I had at one time was just 7 chats going because people are coming on at different times. And so really everybody's got 5 minutes in their day. Sometimes there would be, so-and-so's sleeping at that time. So then I could do it, but it's literally 5 minutes, takes nothing, right? So you could be washing dishes or whatever. It's just a conversation there. So yeah. But about 7.
I know there's probably a lot of people on this call thinking, I've got to start doing 5-minute calls with my team. And Adam will probably pick up in a little bit and talk about that. But, people need to respect each other's time. And, if you're speaking with someone on that other line and they're not doing the activity, then they don't get your time, right? And that's a hard call sometimes as a leader. And I saw a system or some context around that the other day where Simon Chan, when he was having those calls, his 3 questions were, who's coming on as a customer? Who have you spoken to about the business? And do you have any questions? And if you couldn't answer those questions, then you're not in activity and you don't get the calls with me anymore. So, and I think it's important to have that balance to make sure we're just not, we're not getting people just to ask you questions for the sake of it. We want people in action around those 5-minute phone calls. But, at the end of the day, that prospect, the person who's just come on board, needs to know that you're there to support them in the first 30 days. And I think helping in those first 30 days is really important. And I've seen you create some success with that. So awesome. What about 2 probably the most important things that have helped you create the success that you have created?
I guess I kind of already mentioned it, but just saying yes, doing everything that your leaders have shared with you and just getting out of your comfort zone for sure. A second thing is just the culture and community and, relying on but using the tools and using the different chats, growing your relationships with sideline buddies. So as you know, being in Canada, I'm 15, 16 hours behind you guys. And so sometimes when you'd have a question, it would be a long time to kind of wait until you got an answer. So I would build my relationships with HO here in Canada. And also now that I've been in the business a little bit longer, I've grown relationships with different sideline buddies here in Canada as well as in the United States. And so just growing relationships, knowing where to look for answers, and just trusting in the system, right? So I think that had a huge impact on my business. What else? I guess the system for sure. I mentioned it a little bit, but it's so simple, and our leaders talk about it almost every training that we're in, but just relating that back to each one of my team, like, are you teachable? Are you consistent? Do you plug in? And getting people to rate themselves on that. And for me as well, like, do I check in with those things? Am I practicing what I'm preaching when I'm telling my team to do something? Do I do it, or do I waver in it, right? So for the first little while of my business, for quite a while, like I said, I did some great posting and I was very consistent with that. And I never really missed trainings or events. And so I was great in those areas, but my reach outs were really poor. And so if you're not reaching out to people, like, no one's going to be, like, people aren't just going to come look for you. You're going to be lucky. Sometimes people are going to see a post of yours, be intrigued. But if you're not actively trying to grow your business and following the resources that are given to us, like the 30-30 grid, if you're not using that and implementing that on a daily basis, then the chances of you growing your business as quickly as you'd like them to be is going to be quite slim. So just follow the system that works. The system or the resources, the system is simple, right? You just basically create intrigue, reach out to people, and then send them an event. And that's what I loved about this business, is that I didn't have to know everything. I just sent the event and it did everything for me. And so then just use your upline. So I really used Lori Briganti a lot, and Fiona and Brian for my Start Strong calls with my team, and just going back and forth with information. Fiona's a wizard at product knowledge. And so whenever I'd have questions about that, I would just know where everyone's expertise is and just, take full advantage of their knowledge. And so follow the system, I guess. And I wasn't so great at that at first. Make sense?
It does. I'm not a wizard on the product.
No, you're a wizard. You're a wizard with the numbers. So I probably listened to your training on qualifying like 1 billion times, because I was like, I don't know what's happening here. And I still listen to it to teach it to my team. So I'd say you're a wizard with numbers.
But not
Fiona's the wizard.
I'm good at everything. It's all right. Hey, is there anything else you want to share before we talk about, what you're excited about in the future?
No, I think you guys are amazing. You guys, what you've done is incredible, because from Linda Evenden, there's been this culture and community, and it's so cool because I'm on the other side of the world, yet because it's the love, the support, the way that you guys focus on empowering people is so, I don't know, it's just so huge that, sorry, I got distracted. It's trickled down into Canada and the United States as well. And so we now have this culture in we're called Team Thrive. And in our Thrive team, we have the culture and community continuing. And it's the one thing that people say when they come on is, oh my goodness, there's no competition. People just want to build you up and support you. And I love that came from all the way across the world and trickled down into our team, and it's thriving. That's it.
It's got nothing to do with us. But, you're a pioneer, because North America they've been doing it a certain way for so long, and you haven't fallen into that way. You've definitely been teachable, like we said, and implementing our system, which has helped definitely create success for us, and you're out there and being teachable, and you're having some success with it. So hats off to you, because I think pretty easily can be caught up in listening to people around you who've been in the business 2 and 3 years, and you're coached through through head office, but you're still staying true to our system, which is awesome. And I'm excited because we get to hang out a few weeks with 12 of your team, I think, at the Phoenix conference. So that's pretty exciting. So
yeah,
what does the future look like? I know you're going for QNND this month, and very close to 12 Club, which is pretty awesome. But what excites you about your future?
Well, first off is, again, Phoenix, because it's going to be my first real conference. Here they do regionals and prevention plus little workshops, but I'm so thrilled. Just you guys you've done a great job of talking up conference, and we're so excited. We started off as 2 people coming to conference, and now I strongly believe we're going to be 12. So that's a big jump, and I can't wait, because some of these people I haven't met in my team, but most of all, I can't wait to meet you guys and just learn from you and be in the same room and learn from you guys, because I know it's going to be a different experience. It's like, if I can make a comparison, it's like watching recordings. They're awesome, but there's something different about being on a live event or a live training. I don't know why. So I think that when we're all in the same building and we're learning, and I just think it's going to be great. So I'm really excited for that. I'm excited to show you guys to Canada. Hopefully we get out of our deep freeze, because I know golf is in the cards, but we are still, it was snowing today. This is unusual. So I'm going to pray for some sunshine to warm up the mountains for us. But other than conference and getting to meet our leaders, that's super exciting. But I'm really excited to just continue to grow my team and learn more from the women in my team. Because as you know, there's so many people coming on right now with great momentum, and I know I can learn from them, and I know that they can learn from their friends or teach our team. Sorry, I have my chat off. I can't do chat when I'm talking. I'm too distracted. And just watching people just continuing to empower, I suppose. Something super, I know, a goal of mine right now is just, my husband is working 2 full-time jobs, and he's in the oil sector, but he's also a full-time photographer. And so I've always listened to people say, I want to retire my husband, and I've listened to it. I'm like, that's awesome, but never really thought about it until about 5 or 6 months ago again. And Sean's just at the cusp of leaving his regular 9-to-5 job, building a studio in our house, and just following his passions. And if I could, I know what's kind of preventing him from making this jump is wondering what's going to happen to our little family if it doesn't go right. And I know it'll go right. I know he's going to be successful, but if I can give him that little bit of confidence that we're going to be okay, that's what it's just going to mean the world to me. And so we're both, this business has brought my husband and I closer together, because we're both entrepreneurs. We both have a passion. And so we share, I share my training information with him. He shares with me. And I don't know, when you're following your passion and you love what you do, life becomes fun. And the trials that you face are just little hiccups. And so if I can provide him with that support, then it would mean the world to me, like I said. So yeah.
That's so cool, Kerrie. You're very inspiring to both Fiona and I. You're going to create success in whatever you do. You're a very driven woman and passionate, and we just love spending time with you and being around you and seeing how you help your team is amazing, and just being there for them. So thank you for sharing tonight. I'm not sure. I'm going to hand it back to Adam. He may have some questions for you. He likes to get in there and ask some hard questions.
I don't know if I've got any hard questions, but it's amazing, Kerrie. Honestly, I don't know. The way you say it with your accent's just so beautiful. All us Aussies are a bit like, oh, it just sounds amazing. But honestly, to see you come to conference, the US conference, it is going to be amazing. It's 8,000-9,000 people. You walk the stage as a QNND, and to do QNND in a 12-month period in North America is a huge achievement. And, I know all of us are so grateful to have someone who has really stepped up into leadership in North America and really leading the charge and really showing people around, that area what's possible with the system that we have. So I know this is just the beginning. Let's face it, it's probably an 8-month QNMD. It's probably, the first 4 months you were trading water. So, I know, what's possible in the next 12 months is going to be awesome. And I can't wait to come to Canada. I know Brian and I are off to Canada after the US conference to come hang out with you guys. And I'm excited that there might be some snow on the mountains. So that will be good. I might leave the golf clubs at home. We'll just go skiing during the day. But yeah, we can't wait to come and hang out with you guys. It's certainly one of the great things. And I would say to anyone on this call tonight, guys, if you have got team in the US, if you've got team in Canada, get them to the US conference in Phoenix. Just hold your place for them, just like Kerrie has for her team, to say, let's do this thing, let's go. Kerrie is it's a part of her is just going on faith that, everyone talks about it. Everyone that's successful goes to conference, find a way and go. And, I would say to you guys, if you've got team in the US, why not come too? Why not share it with your team and do that? It's pretty amazing. And I know my first big conference in the US, I was 3 months in. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. So I can't wait to hang out at conference. More importantly, at the bar. It's always fun. And looking forward to seeing you guys. And I'm just going to, hopefully they don't wake you up too much, because it's probably time to go back to bed. I don't know if you're going to be able to do that. But we might let everyone come off mute and just give their gratitude to you. So go for it, Team FreeStyle. Give Kerrie some love.
Thanks, Kerrie.
Well done.
Thank you, Kerrie.
Amazing.
Thank you, Kerrie. Thank you, Kerrie. You're awesome.
Thanks. You rock, woman.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
It's amazing.
Thank you. You're amazing.